And we are live on a Monday. Good morning to you and yours, and welcome to it. Courtesy of Orampop in Umgungundlovul, coming to you live and direct. Thank you so much for joining us for this exciting episode of Clinical Monday, your best way to begin a healthy week. And on today's episode, we are looking at traditional medicine or African traditional medicine. And to help us dissect that, I've brought in Dr. Jones. But if you want to be part of this conversation, please leave your comment and questions on the comment section below. We are live on Orampop's Facebook page. Also on X, it is at n_health with the hashtag Clinical Monday, and also on www.popin.org. And like I said, today Dr. Jones and Sister Teresa, or rather, just Dr. Jones, helping me speak to rather African traditional medicine. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Great. You look amazing, first and foremost. Let's
Thank
get
you
that
so
out of the
much.
way. I feel so underdressed. I should have touched my face as well. But thank you so much, Dr. Jones, for joining us. We are experiencing, or rather, I want to say celebrating African Traditional Medicine Week, and also there will be African Traditional Medicine Day. But this I think it speaks to African medicine. So we brought you here to speak to us about it. In simple terms, what would be defined as African medicine? And can you give us examples of those?
Okay. African medicine is a traditional form of medicine.
Yeah.
It's the medicine that basically, if we go back to our forefathers and ancestors, that was the type of medicine that was practiced here in Africa, where there was a big use of herbs and traditional herbs using to treat certain ailments. And a big part of African medicine is the aspect of tapping into African spirituality. And that is the means in which we were able to dissect and determine what is that person's problem, what is the diagnosis through tapping into African spirituality, connecting to their ancestors, and then being able to either fix the problem either through rituals or through the use of traditional herbs.
Oh, got you. How commonly do clients, because I think everyone has their own, I want to say, journey or experiences when it comes to using African medicine or tapping into African spirituality to either deal with the problem or they end up consulting, they end up going to see a medium, different kinds of really experiences when it comes to that. But how common do you experience clients who actually say that they're using African medicine?
Especially in this setting, especially here in Ngugundlovu, it's something that's quite prevalent. Studies have also shown that 80% of South Africans actually do use traditional African medicine for whatever problem in a certain time of their life or circumstances they might be faced with. There's always sometimes that one opportunity where someone would want to make use of African medicine. So it's quite common, and sometimes they might come into my practice as a patient who has got specific ailment, and they might actually find out that they actually have something that is more spiritual that needs us then to delve into more African spirituality to address that issue, but not neglecting the Western medicine that they've consulted for.
I got you. I want us to speak about the benefits of using African medicine, or using rather traditional medicine, especially when you are taking a specific treatment. You speak about an area like this, where I want to say it's staunch traditional, I want to say values and systems where people really would feel more comfortable in using traditional medicine, as it were, over consulting and using Western medicine. So what would be then the benefit of using that whilst they are also taking some kind of treatment?
Okay. First and foremost, traditional healers far outnumber the number of medical doctors that are available. So if we are able to create a system that actually encourages the use of African medicine with proven outcomes, then that can provide a space where we can offer help to more people. The problem that we do have is when it comes to certain research, and especially pharmaceutical research, when it comes to African medicine and the impact of that. And for example, you can have someone who's either using ARVs, who's using hypertensive medication or PrEP, and those things, they are proven, the medications are proven to have a specific outcome. We know the side effect profiles of those medications. We know exactly the ingredients that are in those medications, and therefore we can determine the outcome. With African medicine, it's a collaboration of medication at times. We're not sure what the active ingredients are. We don't know the dosages of that ingredients because there's no way to standardize the dosing of African medicine. And then the drug interactions, because I always remind my patients that African medicine, herbs, all medication started with herbs, herbal medication. The difference is now we're able to, like, dosage and be able to control the form of that compound that we give the patient. With African medicine, we lack in that aspect. We lack in terms of research, clinical trials when it comes to the use of herbal medication. And therefore, herbal medication can interact with other drugs that you're on, and you need to be wary about that.
Got you. I mean, we also have a collaboration with traditional healers, and I think it's quite a milestone, if you really ask me, where, you know, traditional healers get to have something like an HTS, for instance, or be able to conduct HTS in the collaboration. Maybe perhaps what would be the benefit for us to have further collaborations like that, where African traditional healers come to areas like Pop and get to be exposed to the environment like that.
I think that's something that is actually quite good, that we need to put more emphasis on training African healers to be able to address larger population groups. There are many clients which come through traditional healers. They come and consult with problems. For example, a person could come and a traditional healer can pick up on that person being transgender and can help to facilitate that person getting the necessary help they need to, even starting the basic counseling, the directing what are the services that we need to engage. Are there certain things that a traditional healer can do with a client that can facilitate their transitioning process? Or, you know, so there's many examples like that where if we equip traditional healers to have some sort of clinical background, then they can be useful in our communities and affect more people. And I think our people in our communities have great faith in the traditional healers and the power that they possess, and they looked at as people of great esteem. So when that advice comes from somebody such as a traditional healer, it's something that is actually taken as something that is worth a lot.
Yes, definitely. What are some of your questions that you have when it comes to African traditional medicine, or even, you know, a traditional way of looking at dealing with you know, medical problems? Perhaps, you know, what are some of the experiences that you've had? Please share them with us, or if you have any questions, drop them on our comment section. I was in conversation with Dr. Jones, who really just laid the lane when it comes to that. In closing, you know, we see problems medically, or we see problems in our life. They could be sexual health related or health related. What would be the best way for us to tackle those problems? What do you think?
Hard question. I think, you know, many people go based on what they feel comfortable with. I feel that there's always a need to consider both African spirituality and African medicine, as well as Western medicine. So, for example, someone were to present with symptoms of an STI or symptoms of erectile dysfunction, you know, we know that it can be treated in a Western form, but we shouldn't neglect the African spirituality and the African medicine aspect to treating such conditions, in many conditions, you know, make sure that you do things properly, that you, if you do believe in African medicine and African spirituality, that you do the necessary rituals that are expected. And then if you do encounter a problem, you need to also be cognizant of the fact that, you know, for example, some patients would be losing weight, feeling ill. Maybe they got symptoms of HIV, maybe they have symptoms of any other disease, and we can't blame everything. For example, patients with seizures, we can't necessarily say that that is just something that is African spiritually related. We need to exclude the Western medicine part, the clinical part, and once we stabilize clients science, then we can look at the other aspects and try to integrate Western and African medicine.
Dr. Jones, thank you so much for your time, and that concludes our conversation for this episode of Clinical Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to interact with us on all our social media platforms to catch these kind of conversations and more, because we've spoken about everything. I mean everything. Go to our YouTube channel, it is at OramPopN, also www.popn.org. Until the next episode, happy streaming. Bye. And we are live on our social media platforms on